back to TGTD, more specifically, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Deja Vu. Roy Humphrey, ladies and gentlemen, Roy Humphrey Prestige Cars. Today I'm here to see something very exciting. You already know about Roy Humphrey Prestige Cars, so I will not bang on about that. But today I'm here to drive something very, very special. They are getting some ridiculous bits at the moment, so let's jump in, let's crack on. At the risk of also boring on about this, I'm here today in my Lister. Again, you'll all be very familiar with my Lister. I am loving this car, and if you haven't checked out the Lister Stealth before, there's full details and videos on this car on my channel, but make sure you go and check out with the guys at Lister and spec up your own, because they are absolute chaos. They're fantastic. Anyway, let's go in. Here we are back. So the customary showroom walk around is not going to happen this time round. You'll see something exciting there. However, we are here today, ladies and gentlemen, very aptly, very topically, to drive this that's just come in to stock. I couldn't help myself but come and check this out, because obviously the new V12 Vantage has just been launched. It's literally in the past 12 hours just been revealed to the world, and almost in time with that, this has appeared here in stock. This is an extremely special car. It is of course an Aston Martin Vantage, but there is a little clue on the side as to why it ties in with the new V12 Vantage. And also, you would have noticed, it's got the aero kit on it, and it's got a manual gearbox. So I'm going to go through the full options on this car, then we're going to fire up, we're going to hear her, and then go for a little drive. And I am going to moot whether or not an Aston Martin should be joining back on my channel. I'm back in my garage, because many of you will know I am a huge Aston Vantage fan, particularly this shape. We've got a new shape one over there. That is, of course, the V8. The V12 one is not available out yet to buy, and physical cars aren't actually out there yet. But I actually had an Aston Martin AMR V8, which is effectively a V8 Vantage S with the manual gearbox. So it'll be very, very interesting to drive this car, compare it to that, and also moot whether or not I'll be buying one of these, particularly even buying this actual car, or be ordering the new V12 Vantage. So all these things are going to be discussed in today's video. So let's have a little walk around of the spec and then we'll get going. So obvious things first then, the color. It's finished in onyx black, but the most special thing about this car is it's fitted with £70,000 worth of factory options. That includes, first off the bat, the AMR body pack, which is effectively this aero kit. So you get extended splitter down along the bottom here, full carbon, as you can see, little canards, little fins there as well, carbon in the grille there, and you can see the onyx black paint with a huge kind of deep fleck in it. Carbon fiber bonnet vents coming around the car, carbon fiber wing mirrors, carbon fiber on here, and this is extended carbon pack as well, so not just the AMR body pack, but there's extended carbon fiber package on this car as well, and this huge side sill as well, akin to, well, basically the GT12, which we will discuss as well, because there are reasons I would pick this car over the ultra rare, ultra exclusive GT12. You've also got the AMR body pack carbon wing on there as well, with satin black struts. Absolutely love that. And as you'd naturally expect, you've also got a carbon diffuser as well. I believe that's actually similar to what was on my AMR Vantage V8 as well. And as if that wasn't enough, you've also got carbon fiber inlays in the lights as well. So let's have a little look inside then. This carbon fiber door handle, I forgot to mention as well. Literally everything you look at on this car is carbon. Opening up then, what a place to be. This particular example has only got 4,000 miles on it, so it's absolutely fresh. But even the door skins, carbon fiber, Alcantara, aluminium bits, more carbon, and it's got the lightweight seating package, which means you've got these carbon fiber bucket seats. These are actually the same seats as I had in my AMR V8, and I can vouch for these. I've done many miles in these seats, and they are fantastic. The whole structure, you can see in there just about, the whole structure of these seats is carbon fiber. They are fixed, but don't let that alarm you. They're actually very comfortable seats indeed. Big fan of these seats, and so cool this car's got it. And the pièce de résistance, I mean, I probably wouldn't be here if this wasn't here, but you've got a 7-speed manual gearbox. Slightly different to the gearbox that was in my V8 Vantage. However, this is actually a dogleg. It is a 7-speed dogleg manual gearbox in a naturally aspirated V12 engine. So cool. And what I absolutely love, you've got that Aston feature where the key goes in that little slot there. So sick. Obviously the screen folds up there as well. You've got CarPlay and all that stuff. But it's such a nice place to be. So I think the only thing to do right now is to fire up and get going. And one of the other things I really love about these is the kind of simplistic dials. There's no faff, there's no messing about. It's just a kind of classic, timeless look. And of course you've got more carbon round the speedos there as well. And the steering wheel, there's just no messing around. There isn't kind of endless faff on it. It's just very simple, to the point. Here's your steering wheel, get going. And actually the steering wheel design on this generation of Vantage, I much prefer over and above the steering wheel design on the new Vantage. The new Vantage and the new DBS steering wheel looks a bit weird. Much prefer that. It's just no frills, no nonsense. And of course, you've got 3 pedals, which I'm going to be pushing away at very shortly. So let's hop in. Let's go for a spin. Right, let's fire up then. Bloody Nora. I bet the new one doesn't sound like that. Put some shades on, put some sunglasses today. Every time I come here, the sun is shining. I'm prepared today though. Whoa. And one thing I want to address as well, in videos, whenever you see me jump in a car, turn it on and start moving, there is a warm-up period. By the joys of the internet, I can manufacture a warm-up period into the video without making you guys watch me sit there for 2 minutes whilst the car's warming up. So we are letting the car warm up before I drive it, and then there'll be a run-in period whilst I'm driving as well, by which I don't go above 3,000 revs. Mechanical sympathy is key. So whilst it's warming up then, you've got aluminium switchgear actually on everything in here. You've got a damper button down here to stiffen up the suspension. You've got a sport button which releases the full brake horsepower, the full power of the car, and also increases throttle responsiveness as well. You'll just feel it kind of more willing to go with that sport button on. And you've also got a traction control button down there as well. Obviously you've got this 7-speed Alcantara clad gear knob here, denoting where every gear actually is, because that is really helpful, particularly on a dogleg when you get in. The pedals and the driving position are actually really good in here. Pedals are quite close together. I'm wearing clodhoppers today, so hopefully I don't grab 2 pedals at the same time. But other than that, it's a very nice place to be. There's just an element of simplicity about it that modern cars don't tend to have. I say modern cars as though this isn't modern. It's a 2019. That is 3,000 revs. We're not going to go higher than that until we get on the move. So, first gear, fly off handbrake down. First gear is where you'd expect to see second gear. So it's actually bottom left, and reverse is top left, over and above to the left of where first gear would normally be. Quite a strange scenario. Let's get her out in the sunshine. Whoa, wonderful, look at this. Try not to stall it, I'll get laughed at by the guys here. It's so loud. Here we go then. Here we go. Deja vu on this little test circuit here. It's always hard when you get in a car that isn't yours and it's a manual. What I was going to say was, it's hard when you get in a car that isn't yours and it's a manual. You don't want to overdo the revs and burn the clutch and kind of do anything to the car whatsoever, so you're super gentle. But also what you don't want to do when you're taking out a car like this is stall it in front of the very people that are custodians of the car, because then they think you're a complete moron and you can't drive. So it's always an interesting one. So to get into second gear, you let the lever come across naturally with its own weighting and then push it forward, and actually straight up ahead is second gear, which is bizarre. Initial impressions then, it's very visceral. You can hear a little bit of road noise, the steering's very heavy, there's lots of burbling. You can actually almost kind of feel each gear going in. It's good. And I think I giggled like a complete moron on the way out there. I may well have cut that. It's comfy though. As I said before, these seats are great. Don't think, oh my God, carbon fixed bucket seats, how horrendous. They're not like the Lamborghini ones at all. These are brilliant. They're more comfortable than the Porsche 918 fixed buckets, which they put in literally every car they make now. And we're sitting along, cruising at 40 miles an hour, tops, very nicely indeed. I'm very happy in here. I can see all angles of the car. I can see out the back, despite that silly wing. I can see out of there. And over my shoulder then, we've got a little bit of a blind spot with actually a very nice carbon structure back there as well, which I didn't pick up in the first instance. This is very nice in here. And you've got luggage space as well, quite a lot of luggage space behind you there as well. So whilst we're just poodling along then, waiting for old Mother Hubbard to get out of the way, this car was around 210,000 list price, but this is a manual. There are no more manual Vantage V12s as far as I know. I don't think the new one's coming in a manual. I don't think they've been express on that, but I'm pretty sure they won't put a manual gearbox in that. The new one is obviously that DBS derived V12 turbo thing, which doesn't actually sound very good. It's quite loud, but it doesn't sound very good. The DBS, I love the DBS, but I just don't think the sound is there. It's a bit synthetic, a bit burbly, and a little bit kind of medicinal, a little bit nondescript. This has still got that kind of Spitfire Aston element that you just know and love. I absolutely adore these cars. I think the shape is aging so well. I just think it's unbelievable, to be honest. And if it wasn't for the fact I'm mildly sick of cars, you heard it here first, at the time being, I'm having a bit of a grumpy old man moment. I'm mildly sick of cars, I would consider buying this thing. 5,000 revs. We are still pootling, ladies and gentlemen. We're still pootling around. We're in Norfolk. We've just crossed over into Norfolk. Wonderful. I feel like I'm on holiday today. This is very nice. I don't even know if you can hear me. This thing is just so loud, but it's not loud at the point of being intrusive and horrendous, and you know, you would want to spend 10 minutes in this car and want to get out. Oh, it's very nicely weighted, the steering. This is just great. What a thing. Up through the revs, it just gets more and more angry, aggressive, raspy, and you start to get that high-pitched V12 tone. It's not quite the tone of a Ferrari or even a Lamborghini with some sort of silly Gintani exhaust on it. It's a very, very distinctive Aston tone. So 600 brake horsepower, linear power delivery, naturally aspirated, manual gearbox, carbon everywhere, British design and engineering. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And you could live with this every single day. There's no issues with this car whatsoever. You could absolutely live with it. So the box then is basically a 6-speed box, and then you've got 7th gear that you'd probably only really use as kind of like an overdrive. I believe akin to that, like on a 991, 911. It's got that 7th gear, which you would only really sit in. Let's put it in 7th gear now. So we're at 70, obviously, and we're in 7th gear, and we're sitting at 2,200 revs in 7th gear. So that very much is a just kind of cross-continent, slap it at 70 miles an hour, only chuck it in 7th gear, and you're off. So pedal positioning on this is the same as my V12. I almost went to put it in first then. Old habits die hard. Pedal positioning is pretty much the same as my... Let's just be a child. Let's be childish. Let's be childish. That's only 5,000 RPM. Chaos! So yeah, pedal positioning, as I was saying before I started being a hooligan, is the same as my V8 Vantage S. Very nicely done actually. You can heel and toe and all that nonsense and that jibber jabber should you feel the desire to on public roads at any given time. I must admit I quite enjoy doing it. I'm not the best at it and I'm not going to do it in this car because it's not mine, but in my manual cars I do have a little go, even around town sometimes, just at low speeds, just give it a little blip. It's a lot of fun. So in fact I've got a confession, the whole way along I've been driving without the sport button on, which is actually more than good enough. Doesn't sound any louder with the sport button on. I don't believe it is, I'm not sure either way. I don't know if there's valves attached to that sport button, but it does feel a lot livelier, a lot more perky. Putting the sport button on actually enables auto blip, so you get a little bit of rev matching. Steady as she goes. So when you put the sport button on, obviously throttle response increases, but what I didn't realise and I've just found out is that actually gives you a little bit, hold on, I don't know if you can hear it, a little bit of rev matching as well, so it will match the revs on the way down if you've got the sport button on. If you don't, it won't do that. Very interesting. I didn't know it did that, and my V8 Vantage S didn't, as far as I know, do that. So this is a feature that I believe only the V12 Vantage S has. I don't know, Aston people correct me. Well, that's quite a cool little feature actually. It's not intrusive. I think the Porsche one's a little bit more intrusive than this. This just gives you a little bit of revs, just a slight nudge towards matching the revs, which obviously preserves the engine actually and makes sure you're not bouncing off the engine mounts like a moron. So actually quite a cool feature. The Porsche one is a little bit intrusive. Porsche one sounds like you've literally whacked the throttle and you have blipped it. This one is just kind of a more of a subtle affair, which is good. I find the Porsche one a little bit annoying actually. So good news. I'm very happy in here. I don't know if you can tell. And I do have an Aston shaped hole in my garage. So touching then on the cost. The new Vantage V12 is, with options, 310, 320. This was 210, 220 with options. These are absolutely hen's teeth. I know the new one, they've made 333 of them at about £330,000 each. You do the maths, good cash raise there, Aston. But I actually think this car will still be rarer. I don't think I've seen another manual V12 Vantage S with the AMR Performance Pack and the AMR Body Pack and all these options ever before. This car also has got full PPF from Topaz as well, which I don't know what it runs to these days, but it's between 6 and 10 grand for a proper PPF job. And I've gone around this car, I didn't realise it even had PPF. That's how good it is. So my mentality a couple of months ago, I probably would have bought this. I probably wouldn't even done a video in it. I would have bought it and then done a video of me collecting it. But I'm trying to be sensible now. I've got all the cars I need and a load more that I don't need and don't even really want anymore. So I don't know. I might have bought this by the time the video goes out. I don't know. It varies day to day how my mentality is doing, but it's a great piece of kit. It is a great, iconic, actually kind of piece of Aston history, to be honest. I think I like Aston, I like what they're doing, and I understand what they need to be doing and what they're doing to kind of keep their company going. But for me, this is probably the last proper Aston Martin Vantage. Sorry everyone. And I think if I did get back into Vantage ownership, it would either be one of these, V12 manual, or a V8 manual. Probably the AMR again. So I do miss that brute in my garage. Many of you remember I took that thing to the south of France, and I expected it to be a bit of a pudding and to end up hating it, but I kind of fell in love with it. And again, another car that I just regret selling. Anyway, let's get it back to Roy Humphries. A huge thanks once again to them for trusting me with this car. And if you've got anything that you want to get out of, or anything that you've got that you like the look of, by all means do give them a shout. They are absolutely keen for stock. There is a car shortage. They'll give you good money for your car. They'll send the money straight away. It's a nice, simple process. And I actually know some people personally that use the guys, and they couldn't be happier. I'll try not to get killed by a lorry. Soz. So yeah, give them a shout. Give them a shout if you've got anything, and I'm sure they'll willingly have a chat and take it in. For now, thank you very much for watching. Do make sure you subscribe, leave a little comment, let me know that you're alive and you're paying attention, you're listening, and you got this far. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Cheers for now, guys. Bye.